This video covers the type of erosion called mass movements. A mass movement is the movement of loose earth materials, rock and soil, down steep slopes. The agent of erosion that causes mass movements is gravity. Because this is such a broad definition, there are several types of mass movements we need to be familiar with. The first one is called creep. Okay, so we'll start off with mass movement in the notes. Mass movement, the movement of loose rock and materials down steep slopes, and it's caused by gravity. Now, creep. Creep is a very slow, almost imperceivable downslope movement of the soil. Almost imperceivable means you can't even really notice it. It's imperceivable means you'll never notice it happening. Creeps are not very exciting. They are just slow, moving very slow down a hillside over time. Usually they happen so slowly that the only way to know they are occurring is by finding evidence on the hillside. Tilted telephone poles and fence posts are good indicators that a hillside is creeping. So creep, very slow movement of soil, and you usually only see tilted trees and fences. Now in your notes, I want to encourage you to draw little pictures, things that'll help you remember and understand what's going on here. I won't do it in the video, but feel free to pause and draw stuff. Here's a picture of some tilted fence posts as creep happened. This is a very famous forest where all of the trees they started growing straight up, but as the soil creeped, they all got tilted sideways, so they had to curve to go back up towards the sky. Up next is slump. Here's a picture of slump. So it's a little different than creep in that it looks like something actually kind of cut into the soil. Slumps occur when small blocks of land that tilt and move downhill. These are common on cliffs, steep hills, and road cuts. They're easy to identify because it results in a hillside that looks like it has big steps in it. Kind of like this picture here. Slump, when large blocks of land tilt and fall over. And again, good idea to add a little picture. Here's a diagram of slump. That would be very handy to have. Right. Now the most famous type of mass movement erosion is called landslides. Landslides kill people. There have been lots of examples of landslides covering villages or housing developments in Colorado not too long ago. Sometimes mud and rocks move quickly and slide down a hill at high speeds. This is usually brought on during heavy rains on steep hills as the water lubricates the support that is holding the hill up. So as it rains, slowly the water gets down into the rock and turns the rock and soil into mud, and that mud is slippery. So just a few examples here. Here is a landslide happening during a train while a train is going by. Here comes a landslide. Now that relatively small landslide was able to derail this train. It doesn't look like much as it's coming down the hill, but there's a lot of power. Imagine that hitting your house or something. Alright, so you can see it's just starting to, little bits are coming, then all of a sudden, And all of a sudden, doesn't look like much, but when it hits that train, it's kind of a big deal. Okay, another example. Okay, looks wet. The road looks wet, so you can see that it's been raining. This was a very steep hillside. Landslide came down. I would actually be nervous to be standing where these people are standing. And they have a mess on their hands. Last example, this is the crazy one. Landslides can be huge. This is an entire forest going by. So back to your notes. Under landslides, all we need, heavy rain causes large sections of land to slip down a hill. These are very dangerous. Okay. Now the last one isn't so much a type of erosion, but it fits in the same category as this, is avalanches. So avalanches are equally dangerous to landslides. If you find yourself on a mountain with snow above you, you might need to worry about avalanches. Here are just a few examples.
Rumble down a mountain slope, burying everything in its path under a lethal blanket of snow. Each year, about 150 people in Europe and North America die from avalanches. Large ones can wipe out forests and erase mountain villages. Avalanches come in many forms, some called slough, consist of sliding loose snow. Others, called slab avalanches, occur when large sections of the snowpack crack off and crash down the slope. As snow falls, it builds up layer upon layer. With enough time, the layers will harden and bond to one another. But when layers form weak bonds, any new snow falls on an unstable foundation and waits for the right trigger. Avalanches are caused by sudden changes, a heavy snowfall, strong winds, or a rapid change in temperature. Snowfall, strong winds, or a rapid change in temperature. The shape and angle of the slope are important factors. Slopes over 60 degrees are usually too steep. Slopes under 25 degrees are too gentle. The danger zone comes between 30 and 45 degrees, just where people like to ski and sled.
And all you need to notice about that, avalanches, snow slips down a mountain slope and grows larger, and if you could hear it, 150 to 200 people per year, that's what the dash here means, it's a way of putting shorthand, people per year are killed in the US and Europe by avalanches. That's it.